So, have you ever found yourself stuck in this kind of bureaucratic boss battle? Trying to get a simple receipt or an invoice changed just so your company's accounting department will finally accept it? Honestly, it can feel like this endless maze of red tape, generic email addresses, and those automated replies that literally get you nowhere. Well, today in this explainer, we're taking our source material and totally demystifying exactly how corporate invoice modifications work for PMI. We're handing you the insider cheat code to win this administrative game with absolutely zero stress. We're going to look at the exact protocol and arm you with the complete list of essential company documentation you need before you even think about hitting send. Let's get right into it and clear the path for your professional development.
Because listen, we all want the exact same thing, right? We want our employer to foot the bill. That is the absolute dream scenario. When you're putting in the hours for professional development, studying late at night, pushing your career forward, the absolute best outcome is keeping your own hard-earned money right in your pocket because a company is stepping up to invest in you. But there's a massive catch. If you have an account with PMI and your employer is the one actually paying for it, your standard everyday receipt just isn't going to cut it. That invoice has to perfectly align with your company's incredibly strict accounts payable requirements. You just can't hand a corporate finance team a generic printout with your personal name on it and expect a seamless reimbursement. No way. They need official, specific company details stamped right on that document. And that means you need a formal modification.
So, you might be wondering, when does this modification process actually apply? Well, it covers a very specific scope of products. Essentially, it acts as a roadmap for your entire project management journey. Whether you're just starting out and securing your standard PMI membership, laying the groundwork with your CAPM, managing complex, high-stakes projects with your PMP, or even handling entire portfolios and programs with advanced credentials like the PGMP and PFMP, this process applies to you. Basically, anytime you're going after one of these major credentials and you need the billing details officially adjusted so your employer's finance department can process the payment, this protocol is your lifeline. Think of it as the financial bridge between your career advancement and your company's training budget.
Now, to cross that bridge without getting stopped at the toll booth, you need a strategic toolkit. This right here is your ultimate, non-negotiable 7-point checklist of essential company documentation. You absolutely must gather every single one of these pieces before you ever reach out to customer support. Let's break down exactly why this is the cheat code. First, you need the specific product, clarifying exactly what certification or membership is being billed. Second, your unique PMI ID, tying that corporate payment directly to your personal achievement. Third, and actually listen up because this is where most people completely drop the ball, your company's tax ID or GST number. Missing this is literally the #1 reason expense reports get immediately rejected by corporate accounting. They simply cannot process corporate funds without tax compliance, period. Fourth, the exact amount being requested. Fifth and sixth, the full official company name and company address. Pro tip here, do not use casual abbreviations if your finance team doesn't use them. And finally, the 7th piece, the company contact details, just in case accounts payable needs to verify the whole shebang. Gathering all this essential company documentation beforehand transforms you from someone sending a vague help desk ticket into a highly prepared professional. It is the literal difference between a seamless 5-minute transaction and an endless, agonizing back-and-forth email chain.
Okay, so you've got your documentation locked in, but timing is your next massive hurdle. Having the right information is really only half the battle. When you choose to submit it dictates entirely how your request is handled. There is a golden window of efficiency, strictly running Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When you share your perfectly crafted checklist during this active window, you're catching the payment team live at their desks. It is your absolute fast track to success. But there's a dangerous out-of-hours trap. If you submit your request outside of those specific active hours, say late in the evening or over the weekend, your request doesn't just sit patiently in a standard queue waiting for Monday morning. Instead, the system automatically pushes it into a completely different escalation route.
And what does that automatic escalation actually mean for you in the real world? It means exactly 3 business days of waiting. Yep. If you hit send at 5:01 p.m. on a Friday afternoon, you trigger that alternative route, and your request gets locked into an administrative limbo that takes 3 full business days to resolve. You are suddenly waiting into the middle of the following week, purely because of the minute you decided to submit your checklist. And let's be real, when your employer is breathing down your neck, waiting on a modified invoice to close out their end-of-month accounting, a 3-day delay can cause some serious friction. It's a massive realization that in the rigid world of corporate invoice modifications, the timing of your communication carries just as much weight as the perfection of your documentation.
There is a brutal, refreshing honesty to this entire process. As the source material points out, it sucks sometimes, but it works. And it's incredibly validating to just acknowledge that reality out loud. Yes, suffering a 3-business-day escalation delay simply because you submitted your paperwork on a Friday evening can be incredibly frustrating when you just want your employer to pay the bill so you can get back to focusing on passing your exam. The red tape definitely sucks sometimes, but the underlying truth here is that the system, as bureaucratic and rigid as it might feel on the surface, actually works remarkably well if you just play by its rules. If you respect the checklist and you respect the clock, the system delivers exactly what you need. Knowing this truth up front manages your expectations perfectly, and best of all, puts the control right back in your hands.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, let's take stock. You now hold the ultimate 7-item checklist of essential documentation, and you know the exact window of time to use it. The next time you need your employer to fund your professional journey, whether it's a PMP certification or just a standard membership renewal, you know exactly how to operate. Gather those 7 pieces of information, watch the clock, and aim for that golden Monday to Friday 9 to 5 EST window. But ultimately, mastering these administrative cheat codes isn't just about getting a corporate bill paid. It's about deliberately removing the friction between you and your next major career milestone. When you eliminate the bureaucratic stress, you free up your energy for what actually matters, your professional growth. So now that you hold the keys to bypass the bureaucracy, what's the next major milestone you're going to make your company pay for? Keep your checklist handy and keep pushing forward.